A very warm welcome from on behalf of Symbiosis University of Applied Sciences and to all my students and all others present here. We are honored to have the presence of Mr. Jiten Kapoor. And in fact, I know him since last 13 to 14 years, and we had a small stint working together at Vodafone. And he is a man of a very vast experience, although don't get, a bit led astray by his looks. He looks pretty young than me, but he is very experienced and across telecom. And currently, he's heading the portfolio of the national sales head for all the trackings as far as for DHL, which is one of the premier logistics company. And I welcome him again on the behalf of all the students, staff, and the University of Life Sciences. So Jitenji, nice seeing you after say 14 years. Was it 2006 or 7?
It was 2007, I believe. Yes. It's been a long time. Yeah.
14 years ho gaye.
It's been 14. It's been 14 long years, but the life has all been around. We have seen a global economic meltdown coming in 2009, and we have also seen a COVID coming and hitting us in 2020. So a lot has passed since 14 years.
Yeah, a lot has added, and maybe as far as I am concerned, I can say that I belong to a generation which has seen it all. From the dial only, that circular dial phones to the current world of telecom. So before we begin, sir, how has been the journey till now, Jitenji?
See, the journey has all been about success and failures. If someone would say my journey is all about success, it cannot happen, because failures also form the important part of journey. And in today's world, to all these young bright minds which are out here, if you go into for the interviews with a large startup, they will not about your success, they will ask about your failures. So you should have a very strong story around in failures, because what you have learned from failures, how you overcome your failures, and how you have been able to surpass it. So I would say my journey has been a mix of failures and success. Success only comes after failures, and still the life, वो हिंदी में कहते हैं ना कि अगर आपकी हार्ट लाइन भी एकदम स्ट्रेट हो जाए, you die. So heart line keeps on going like this. So the life is all about ups and downs, and it's been a good journey because each journey teaches you something, and you learn from it, and then you keep on growing.
Very true, because I remember that I think it was the Australian Army or something, that the commando position, they only deploy people who have suffered at least one major setback in their life and have recovered well. So very rightly said, sir. So just a little a snapshot of your career for our students, so that they know that हम बात कर किससे रहे और कौन लोग आपस में बात कर रहे हैं.
Okay, so I started my career. I worked across the industry. I started my career with hospitality industry. After my MBA, I went for a summer training with Taj. Post summer training, I joined Sarovar Group. And I started as a sales executive, IC role, individual role, going out. But with 1.5 years, I was able to get promoted as the assistant manager, and then finally the sales manager. So for 3 years, I worked in hospitality industry. Then I joined Airtel, which was a once circle brand at point of time, and worked for more than 9 years in Airtel. And this between also got a chance to work with Vodafone. So after telecom, I moved to radio industry, where I saw the great economic meltdown coming in. I was working for Ad Labs, Big FM. From there, I moved again back to telecom, because radio industry runs on the ad revenues, and with the economic meltdown, the ad revenues were not coming in. And finally, after working so many years in telecom, now I'm with logistics. Worked with Rivigo, now with DHL. So I would say 3 major industries I worked. I worked in hospitality, I worked in telecom, and now it's been 4.5 years. I'm part of the logistics industry now.
That is great, because radio also brings certain very fond memories. Because once I left, as you are aware, Vodafone, I landed up with the radio. That has been a very creative, and I think one of the most of the accomplishments I actually did. And that is where I actually realized that maybe my forte lies somewhere else in, say, consultancy or training. And that was the transformation point. Thanks a lot for that introduction. So, just to, Mr. Jitendra has got many names against his name in his career. So, how is the this current industry? What is your take? The logistic industry, especially
Hmm.
what it was before this pandemic happened,
Hmm.
and what actually affected in pandemic part two, and then abhi aage kya hai? Three parts, if you will kind enough.
So, first, the logistics industry has always been there from day one. You know, in starting when the army moves, so movement of armies, movement of its food, weapons, machinery, everything was logistics. And I've been always been saying that logistics is a recession-proof and a COVID-proof business post-COVID. So logistics was there. If you see when Persian armies or the Alexander the Great army moved, so they have been speaking about logistics, the logistics of army, the movements of goods, and eventually post pre-COVID, the logistics was there. You know, मैं simple बोलता हूँ, just you know, take a look into your room. Whatever has come into your room, maybe a laptop, even a water bottle, or a mobile phone, or a table, or a chair where you're sitting in, everything has traveled through somewhere, because everything has got manufactured somewhere. You know, some very basic thing, you know, when a new joinee joins us, our organization, and we train them, we say, you know, every day you get up and use Colgate toothpaste, that 5 rupees, 10 rupees a Colgate toothpaste. Think where it is getting manufactured. It is getting manufactured somewhere in Goa, in South, and you are using it here. And you know, a very very basic example, उसका carton कोई और बनाता है, tube कोई और बनाता है, paste कोई और बनाता है. So logistics has two part, inward and outward. So everything raw materials comes to the factory, which is inward. You manufactures it, and that as a paste goes outward. And you know, that was happening pre-COVID. Post-COVID, the importance of logistics and transportation has increased, because we as an individuals, we as a families were not going out, and in fact the hyper local and e-commerce industry has grown very fast. You know, post-COVID era. Hyperlocal, we have been ordering medicines, we have been ordering groceries. So hyperlocal is a technical word, you know, providing services, logistic services in and around your area, in a particular pin code. And we have been seeing companies like Zomato, Swiggy, Dunzo has been providing us services. 1mg, we have been taking pharma medicines. So multiple things have been happening, and hyperlocal has been growing. Similarly, if you see for the e-commerce industry, this growth of the e-commerce industry has now coming from the class 2 and the class tier 3 towns with the high internet penetration and high smartphone penetration. The business has been growing for e-commerce also. So in fact, post COVID, the logistics has become at the more forefront. People has understand more importance of it, and it's been growing at a very very steady pace.
What I understand by hyper local, you mean that because of the pandemic and because of the unavailability of, or rather a restriction on transportation, especially the road transportation, because railway took a very major role. So people started to rely whatever was available around them. So that might be one of the major reasons for this, at least in the local logistics.
Yep. See, hyperlocal was already there, but now from major metros started entering the other metros. So, you know, a company like as Big Basket were delivering to major metros daily milk, bread, you know, at your doorstep, convenience. So after, in fact, post-COVID, this has thing has been growing fast. So how many of us were taking the medicines from these various apps? But post COVID, everyone has got those apps installed onto their systems, on their on their mobile phones, and we have been ordering medicines. So hyperlocal has also been growing at a very fast pace. Zomato, Swiggy, we have been ordering foods from a long time, and now there's also a service where you can deliver your one stuff to other person house through using these services. So hyperlocal has been always there, but now people have started realizing it important, and it has been growing at a much faster pace.
One more thing, Jitanji, because as one of the premier logistics operator in the country, maybe belonging to a multinational group, who are the major clients? And I'm not asking for any proprietary information here. Please excuse me if I sound so. But who are the major, and what has been your experience with all these big names around you? Because I think it could be, you could be a reservoir for what actually happens, how the logistics happen. Now, why I'm asking this question? Because supply chain as such has become a specialization in all the major management courses, and this is very closely related to it. The end of the day, terminology और अंग्रेजी हम कितनी भी यूज कर लें, end of the day काम कैसे होता है, कौन अच्छा करता है और क्या करना, those skills will always remain paramount. So
See, Siddharji, only one thing, you know, I could only say during the COVID times, especially a large number of the fashion brands or what you can classify as a non-essential category were not operational. So a lot of essential category movements were happening. So when you say essential category covered FMCG, your foods, your packaging, because आप जो भी चीज करोगे उसकी packaging चाहिए paper, chemicals, and then finally also electronics, mobile phones, and the laptops joined in. But if a company which were working with bigger fashion brands or bigger formal brands, because people were not moving house, and we have seen in the newspapers and the various articles, so people were not buying shoes, they were not buying formal trousers, they were not buying coats. So the sale of all these items went down. Even high leather items like purses, bags, they were also selling less. But all the people was talking of the essential category. So people was talking the food items, people was talking medicines, and also then finally liquor also joined the race where people, in fact, the economy was
Home
running on
delivery चालू हो
for
गया.
a certain time. Yeah. So that has been the journey. And see, logistics. Abhi, I give you a very very basic example. A simple example like Colgate, Palmolive. You think of anything. Even something like Maggie or a UP noodles. It's getting manufactured somewhere and it is reaching your house. This entire process. उसका आउटसोर्स का सामान कैसे आया, वो प्रोडक्शन होके मैनेज कैसे, एवरीथिंग इज लॉजिस्टिक. यू कैन थिंक ऑफ एनीथिंग, everything is logistic. You think of even a small mobile charger which you are currently using, which you have gone and buy from your shop, which is just down to home. It is getting manufactured somewhere, but it has traveled. So this entire process from its production to the last mile shop, everything is logistics.
Okay. One more question. I mean, maybe because of the pandemic, what has been observed that railway actually upped their ante like anything. And we see a very dynamic minister also, because what we have is actually happening in the long haul trains and all that. Has it actually threatened the other surface transport business, namely road transport business, of which you are at the helm?
So I tell you, if you see the India percentage, let's say of 100%, the 60% in India is the road transportation. चाहे
Yeah.
आप उसको full truck load बोलो या part truck load बोलो, then the 27-28% is railways, 4 to 5% is air, and then a very minuscule amount is your inland waterways. So what is inland waterways? If you go to Europe and if you go to USA, they use their rivers very efficiently for movement of cargo transport. Whereas in India, our honorable Prime Minister has recently launched yesterday Gati Shakti project, which will strengthen this inland waterways traveling and cargo movement. I thought it will further grow. But if you go to those Europe and America, you will see they use their waterways very efficiently for moving of non-essential category. If you want to move something like timber logs, cement, iron, or various other roads, you can use these barges which will move on the railways. And in fact, there has been few trials where something from Allahabad moved on a barge, reached Hooghly River in Calcutta, and from there it went to Bangladesh using the river. So when you were speaking about railways, so what was happening during the pandemic? Why railways has to step up and come in? So two parts. First, the trucks moves through the driver. There was an acute driver shortage because the migratory population moved from the cities to their respective village. Second, whatever drivers were there, they were finding it very difficult to operate because driver की life में अगर वो 30 दिन है, वो 20 से 22 दिन सड़क पे ही रहता है.
True.
सड़क पे सब कुछ बंद था, सारे ढाबे बंद थे. वी फेस चैलेंजेस. अगर मैंने अपने किसी ड्राइवर को दिल्ली से चेन्नई भेजा, वो खाना कहाँ खाएगा?
सही बात.
Everything is closed on the highways. There were multiple checking points. He was not able to hotels bante. He was not able to take a bath. He was not having his basic amenities coming in because ये ढाबे पे रुकते हैं और चलते हैं. जब ढाबा ही बंद है तो खाएगा कैसे? So then the railways has to come in and help because the movement of the essential category cargo was getting stuck. But various other companies like DHL, we were able to also resolve these issues. We started giving the packet food to our drivers, and they started moving in. So, but railways plays a major role during this pandemic time.
Okay. And what do you see? How do you perceive the future ahead? Because a lot of things happening. because of the GST, all this the toll naka. Mumbai and Maharashtra was infamous for that vasuli. All those things going away, and chungi, what they used to call octroi. So अभी क्या लगता है मतलब क्योंकि धीरे-धीरे things seem to be settling down. So do we actually see again a good phase? Because I'm talking at the perspective of overall transportation, because that will actually fuel the need for trucks and all that, and that will fuel the commercial vehicle category. So what do you perceive?
So I believe if you see the startup reports, there are two places where the number of startups or the PE investment is coming in. One is the edutech, second is the logistic. Logistics sector in India, in a developed country, is 8 to 9% of the GDP, whereas in India it is 11 to 12%. So
Okay.
if we are able to reduce the 3%, all these 3% benefit would either be passed to the customer or the company. There's actually a big amount of saving is there. You know, our government has taken a large number of initiatives. It is not only about GST and how it has benefited the supply chain and the logistics and the transportation industry. First, they have given transportation and logistics the infra industry status, which was not there. Second is GST. You know, I'll come to these points in details. Third is your FASTag. You know, they have mandated the FASTag across all these tolls. Third is your this आपकी जो पॉलिसी आई है व्हीकल स्क्रैप पॉलिसी, एंड द फोर्थ पॉइंट व्हाट वी हैव सीन टुमारो इज अ गति शक्ति योजना. जीएसटी से क्या हुआ? आई टेल यू द बेनिफिट. इट इज नॉट ओनली फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बट आल्सो फॉर वेयर हाउसिंग. हर स्टेट का अपना एक डिफरेंट टैक्स स्ट्रक्चर था, and this was making the logistics industry very uncompetitive. When the GST come in, so across all these states there's a similar tax structure, you know, और आपने फास्टैग लगा दिया, so vehicles are moving seamless across the country, so they don't have to stop and have to do the pay of the road octroi or the road tax, जो पहले स्टेट टैक्स जो हम बोलते थे, और अभी तो ई-वे बिल भी इंटीग्रेशन हो गया है. So उसमें बेनिफिट क्या हुआ? वेयर हाउस को जो a large number of big multinationals and Indian multinationals have started consolidating the warehouse. So rather than having warehouse spread across the country, rather than operating 200, 300 warehouse, they are consolidating the warehouse among the major metros in a hub and spoke model, and from there they will move the, so something maybe in a city like Delhi, they will have a major warehouse and they will have a small warehouse in Indore, where earlier they were having some major warehouse in Indore. So consolidation and the efficiency is better coming in the warehousing space. And also for the logistics industry, you know, it was becoming very difficult कि अगर आपका कस्टमर पूछता था कि यार एक ट्रिप है दिल्ली टू चेन्नई, आप कितना चार्ज करोगे, तो फिर आपके पास सारे कैलकुलेशन होते हैं, हर स्टेट में जितने से पास होगा हर स्टेट का अलग टैक्सेशन है. Now it is very simple. You give him one rate, that is for us, that is for across the states, and it has made life very, very simple for everyone now.
Okay. You have, I mean, talking about logistics and the supply chain overall. So, any, I mean, input, what, how actually the business is being affected as far as the international supply chains are concerned? Because just if you like to put some light on the international logistics, especially post-pandemic and the role of China, all that.
So post-pandemic, people and companies are thinking of the regionalization of the supply chain. With pandemic, China was completely closed, and we have all seen news the shortage of sea containers across the world, because earlier the production hub for the entire world was China. तब चाइना में ही वुहान में जब कोविड फैला and it spread across the country, everything was closed. And today also we are facing the similar issue. In today's newspaper also you might have read there's a shortage of passenger vehicles because of the semiconductor shortage. So a large number of countries and companies are making regionalization of supply chain rather than focusing everything on China. They have started building their factories outside China. India is getting some percentage, Brazil is getting some percentage, Africa is getting some percentage. So there's a large number of regionalization of the factories, and the supply chain is happening. And still we are seeing the shortage of the ship containers continue, because what has been built over the years, it cannot be unbuilt suddenly. It will take time. So I feel another 3 to 4 years it will take when the supply chain would be less constrained. There would be regionalization of production coming in, and the world would have equal production bases. Rather than only China, it would be China, India, Brazil, and two other countries coming in and sharing this pie all together.
एक तरह से blessing in disguise भी कह सकते हैं. End of the day, unless कोई आपको झकझोर के जगाता नहीं है ना, so you are so, I mean, this is what has happened in telecom. I mean, one fine morning, Micromouse, which was making all those, I mean, low level these feature phones, suddenly they were into smartphones. So हो क्या रहा था? वहाँ पे बनवाओ, अपना ठप्पा लगाओ और import करो. But because of all these things happening and making it as a compulsion to manufacture here, we need within a decade, at least the component manufacturer will catch up. So that is the right way to go. Sir, ये तो बहुत professional बातें हो गई. अब थोड़ा आपकी बात कर लेते हैं. What were the skills? मतलब आप telecom में रहे, you started with, I mean, so all of us have started at that level, but then apart from the time and age difference, बहुत सारी industries आपने देखी. So what has been the learning, especially on the skill part, because we are a skill university, and what are the skills you picked up along the way? क्योंकि हम जब शुरुआत करते हैं तो क्या है वो अरमान बहुत होते हैं पर उतना इतनी नॉलेज नहीं होती और उतना कहते हैं जोश ज्यादा होता है थोड़ा होश कम होता है. So how things happen? What were the skills you actually picked up along the way in this entire journey of 20 years?
See, around 5 years back, because now I can give you a very, very structured answer. 5, 6 years back, I learned one thing. I was, I would ask all these students, young bright minds, to go and search on Google the Amazon principles, the leadership principles. उनका एक leadership principle है 1% improvement every day. So they say
Yeah.
whatever you are doing, just keep on improving again and again. If you are playing cricket, rather than if you are playing a shot which is onside, keep on improving that shot until it becomes perfect. Or perfect bhi kuch nahi hota, keep on improving. So to all these young bright minds, the most important thing in life is perseverance and learning and unlearning. I've worked across the industries. If you can't unlearn, if you go with a preconceived notion, preconceived mind, then you cannot be successful. Because when you change the industry, when I came to logistics in 2018, and I was handling a region, and there were close to 150 people reporting into me, and when you speak to them, everyone was speaking Greek and Roman and Latin. I was not able to understand because they were using terminology. तो मैंने बोला यार ऐसे तो होगा नहीं. So I decided कि let's start spending action in the hubs. तो logistics में ये hubs होते हैं जहाँ से loading होती है, unloading होती है. So I said I'll do night duties because night को ही सारा काम होता है because truck का no entry रहता है शहर के अंदर. So for 30 days, it was close to 15 days. Every alternate day, I was doing a night duty. There from 10 to 5 in the morning. My bosses said to me, "क्यों कर रहा है?" Let me understand better. When I worked with them, जब मैंने देखा कि गाड़ी को अनलोड कैसे होते हैं, अनलोडिंग कैसे होते हैं, जब आप इवन ड्राइवर से बात करते हो, लोडर से बात करते हो, you have to leave that ego and speak to everyone. तो आपको समझ आता है इशू क्या है, प्रॉब्लम क्या है. And when you start speaking after 40 days to your team, they know the business, they have to answer to you, and you can answer them very well to understand the processes and everything. So my only thing is, you can change the industry. लोग मुझसे पूछते हैं आपने हॉस्पिटैलिटी में काम किया, फिर आप टेलीकॉम चले गए, फिर लॉजिस्टिक्स चले गए, आप इंडस्ट्री कैसे चेंज कर लेते हो, इंडस्ट्री चेंज करना अच्छा है कि नहीं. if you are a sales person, I believe सारे लोग MBA कर रहे होंगे, मार्केटिंग में होंगे, सेल्स में होंगे. So if you are a sales person, similarly for an HR person, if a HR person is of a telecom, he can also go to bank, he can also go to education company, he can go to a manufacturing company. Why cannot a salesperson or a business person do it? You can also sell Eureka Forbes if you know the basics. You can also sell pharma. You can also sell a airplane. You can also sell a car. You can also sell a logistic. You can sell a smartphone. You only have to invest in basics, understand the basics of the business. अगर basic सब जगह एक है, then you can keep on building on to it. I think the most important part is learning, Siddharth ji. If you keep, अगर हम learning छोड़ देंगे, so we will not be able to grow. We need to keep on learning new things, new techniques every day.
Absolutely, and that is what normally when I talk to them, I tell them, see, end of the day, हमारी requirement, I mean the top marketing people, हमारी जरूरत कभी खत्म नहीं होगी. But we will have to continuously upgrade because whatever thing is routine is going to be replaced by automation. I'd like to share experience भी allow me, जितेंद्र जी. आपने transportation में कहा, मुझे कुछ याद आ गया. Long back, I think it was 94, 95. I was at Almaty, Kazakhstan. हाँ क्या था, सारा हम हिंदुस्तान से चाय और मेडिसिन वगैरह मंगवाते थे. And it used to come through Bandar Abbas, Iran. So I've seen those trucks, all Volvo, huge trucks, all air conditioned and all that, heated and all that. So I remember वहाँ पे हम लोग normally avoid करते थे Indians खास तौर पे, जहाँ पे जो docks होते हैं, जहाँ पे मतलब go down होता है. Reason -12 temperature होता था, हम सब देसी लोग problem होती थी. But I went there और एक आध बार मैंने carton भी handle किया just to see how these guys actually manage. and it's really tough. But then that was a, जैसा आप कह रहे थे, it was actually a learning experience. Secondly, मुझे याद है जब मैं वाड़मेर में था, before you joined, I mean, Vodafone, I was branch manager there. So वो 35 वो मीटर वाला अपना टावर होता है ना टेलीकॉम,
हाँ
एक बार मैं उसके ऊपर चढ़ा, मैंने कहा देखूं तो सही यार होता क्या, even E2 क्या होता है, and those things absolutely they, so the skills, what you actually said, it was continuous learning and continuous upgradation. बात बिल्कुल सही है.
मैं
So
आपको
what
एक recent example देता हूँ सिद्धार्थ जी, and these are the few of my team members. You know, when I left the telecom and when Jio was coming in fact I was speaking to few of my team members because वो सालों से CUG बेचते आ रहे थे. तो
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
क्लोज्ड यूजर ग्रुप होता था वॉइस के अंदर, जहां पर 5 लोग 10 लोग 200-300 लोग अगर आप उसमें ऐड हो, आप फ्री में बात कर सकते हो. देन द डेटा रेवोल्यूशन हैपेंड, and data revolution you never required a CUG connection, you can speak to anyone with an unlimited plan.
yes
And suddenly their skills was not required, and many of these people who were not able to upgrade to themselves to selling of data services of ILP, MPLS, broadband connection, they lost their job. They were out of the system because वो skills नहीं required थी. You know, if in today's era, लोगों को ने यहाँ पे बच्चों ने टोपाज का नाम नहीं सुना होगा. तब टोपाज के ब्लेड से लोग शेव करते थे. You know, everything is today's disposable. So in our today's world where it is every day a new technology is coming in, every day a new service is coming in. If you keep on holding to an old technology, an old service, you are not upskilling yourself. You know, we all would become dinosaurs. I would say everyone would become dinosaurs if we are not
exactly.
upgrading ourselves. We would become dinosaurs. As simple as that.
Only in the annals of history. एक वो मजेदार बात आपको बताऊं, तब आप नहीं थे. Your boss, my boss, and his boss's boss, big bosses in Mumbai, KN के साथ हम काम कर रहे थे, KN एनर्जी ने कहा यार हम प्रीपेड में क्यों नहीं दे सकते CUG. हाँ, किसी ने ज्ञान देना शुरू किया, मुंबई से ऐसा हो नहीं सकता. मैंने कहा जितना इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड कम्युनिकेशन इंजीनियरिंग मैंने पढ़ी है और जितना मैंने किया है, उसके हिसाब से जस्ट प्रोग्रामिंग क्यों नहीं हो सकता. उसी के पहले सेम थिंग हैपेंड जब डोकोमो से पहले आई सेड 60 सेकंड की पल्स क्यों, 1 सेकंड की क्यों नहीं हो सकती. फिर ज्ञान दिया गया, डोकोमो ने लॉन्च किया, अगले दिन हमने मैच कर दी. तो तब तक सब संभव हो गया, उसके पहले संभव नहीं हुआ. आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं, अगर पुराने से हटके रहेंगे तो यही मैं इनको भी बोलता हूँ कि एंड ऑफ द डे यू विल हैव टू कंटिन्यूअसली अपग्रेड. रिटेल इज चेंजिंग, होलसेल इज चेंजिंग, एवरीथिंग इज चेंजिंग. और आज की हालत में ये हो गया बिकॉज ऑफ वर्चुअल थिंग्स, यू विल हैव टू बी abrupt to what is happening, keep your eyes and ears open. So what particular skills you would like to advise us students, Jitanji?
So
by the way, I'm interrupting, they're all MBA marketing students. कोई भी फाइनेंस का कोई HR का नहीं, मैं एकदम छटा हुआ क्राउड लेके आया.
तो यहाँ पर सारे लोग सेल्स और मार्केटिंग वाले हैं. आई थिंक एक स्टडी बताता हूँ बहुत अच्छी, मतलब मैं 2 एग्जांपल देता हूँ. इवन टुडे you know, I keep on doing some skills. You know, I went to Ahmedabad to you know, understand the logistics management, did a 7 days 8 days program. तो learning और upskilling सबको चाहिए. There's a very good study which says earlier जब product या service आता था उसकी shelf life was close to 14 to 18 years. Today a product and service only has a life cycle of 4 years. यानी every 4 years पे एक नई technology, एक नया product आएगा. So if we are not upgrading ourselves, so I have already said, I think the most important skill these all people require is agility. You know, everybody needs to be agile. You know, I would say to all these young minds, if someone would say you would have your times coming in for placement and all, if you give you might be, someone must be belonging to Jaipur, someone to Indore. So first be very very mobile and agile, that you can work anywhere in the country and even outside the world. Second, don't bound yourself to one particular industry, because you never know when that industry might become redundant or that product or service might become redundant. So keep on learning every day the new skill and keep on investing in yourself. I think self-investment is the most important thing what you people can do. There are already so many free learning skills on LinkedIn, learning courses on LinkedIn. Keep on learning new things. So be agile, be open, and keep upgrading yourself. I think you all people would be successful in your professional life.
So I hope you all take it seriously, because I keep on repeating it. Now it's coming from a professional who is already at the helm of the things. तो अब कम से कम इस बात की इज्जत रख लेना.
रॉकेट साइंस नहीं है कि मैं आपको कुछ एक टेक्निकल चीज बताऊं कि आप ये कर लो वो कर लो. बस लाइफ है, आप अपने आप में सेल्फ इन्वेस्टेड रहो, कीप ऑन अपस्किलिंग योरसेल्फ, एजाइल रहो, and everyone would make it, and you would learn with experience also.
One last question, Jiten ji. उसके बाद कि how जैसे we are a skill university. So how do you think? Because what we actually do, it's only 30% theory, 70% is theory and sorry practical and skills. So engineering वगैरह में तो upskilling में क्या है, एक machine का operation सिखा दिया, ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया. अपने केस में थोड़ा difficult हो जाता है. So we try to do create scenario and make them work on it. So what do you think that what skills could be included so that the learning process, which took so many years, my case and your case, it could be reduced? What are the skills we should actually introduce at this stage? Because ये थोड़े से mature students, they are all MBA students. So deliberately, I'm not called the BBA ones because they still have to go some way to actually get that maturity. So क्या अभी इनको क्या skills दी जाए जो ये इनफैक्ट जो एक पीरियड होता है ना 6 महीने साल भर प्रोडक्टिव होने में कंपनी, हम लोग जब किसी को करते हैं अपने को मिनिमम 6 महीने साल भर लगते हैं इसको प्रोडक्टिव करने में. सो ये 2-3 महीने में हो जाए, इनको क्या ऐसा हम व्हाट इज द स्किल वी शुड एक्चुअली इम्पार्ट?
I think the most important thing and advice I can give, and I like this one from Europe and American countries, they do very well. You know, all these students go out to earn money and do some petty jobs. So that's a more or like a practical experience. If these people can do, not that questionnaire filling job ki kisi ke liye market research kar li. If you get something to do, actually, if you get a short-term assignment for 2 months, 3 months during these पूजा दिवाली टाइम रश है इन अ शॉपर स्टॉप टू स्टैंड एंड डिस्प्ले, तो सबसे पहले तो शर्म जाती है अंदर से. ठीक है, जब आपके अंदर शर्म नहीं हुई, बिकॉज एवरीबॉडी इज इन सेल्स, यू हैव टू गो एंड सेल. अगर आप घंटी बजाकर कोल्ड कॉल कर सकते हो और ऑफिस के अंदर नॉक करके कोल्ड कॉल कर सकते हो, तो सबसे पहले वो झिझक और शर्म जानी है.
Exactly.
Anything, if they get a chance to work with Westside, Shopper Stop, any logistics company, any company, even as a promoter, let's say they are standing in a showroom selling Samsung mobile handset, they will know how to interact with the customer. पहले तो 24 घंटे 48 hours में शर्म जाएगी, and that would give them a lot of confidence in even to face the interviews and the face this world in coming days.
Exactly. वो तो बेशरम तो उनको एक सेमेस्टर में बना देंगे, उसकी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. And well, it was very, engrossing. बहुत मजा आया और बहुत दिनों बाद एक तो आपसे मुलाकात हुई, तो बहुत अच्छा लगा देख के.
Feeling is very, very mutual. These are very young, bright students on this. The future of our country rests on these students, and I believe that they would be able to create a great mark for themselves.
And we are trying our best, and that is what the vision of our founders are. As simple as it. So I'll just open a question answer session. I've opened all your,
okay.
Instead of asking them one by one, I've already opened your voice one by one. Please, if you want to ask any question to Jitenji, you can please ask. Anyone, please raise your hand first. क्या हुआ? नींद में हो सब? क्या हो गया? Or still just okay? Parth wants to ask.
Yes,
Parth, ask the question.
Sir, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I would like to ask that logistic is a broad and a far-reaching function with a significant impact on the standard as well as on the logistical system. So there are many vital competencies to know. So in your opinion, what are the key competencies for the logistical professionals?
So what do you want to know exactly, key competencies? See, because logistics can be broken into many things. It can be a ocean logistics, it could be a road logistics, it could be an air logistics, and for each set you require different set of competency. So you're asking competency from the operation side or from the business side?
From the business side, from the supply chain planning
Okay.
to the contract management.
So for the contract management, I believe the customers would remain the same. If you go to a customer as big as a Mondelez or Nestle, they use multimodal transport. So they also export, they also import, they also use for domestic. The most important thing what is required is to understand for a business professional, if you are on a sales side into a logistic company, is the customer management, CXO management of the relationship, and understanding the contract management. That would require time because there are the various terms and conditions which you would only get exposed to when you are joining a particular organization and a company.
Okay, Jairaj, you're.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, I wanted to ask, like, there are major players in the economy, like we are seeing Ola Electric and Ather, such brands. So, like, they have a different logistic policy, like Ola is delivering to direct to customers. So, do you think that they have a survival, or this logistics policy have a survival where we have such huge and giants in the logistics team still they are not opting for that?
See, I worked very closely with these guys. In fact, before they came with this scooters, I was working with them. Yes, their model is they want to deliver directly to the customers, and they are working with multiple logistics company to support them because the product is such like they want to give the customer this experience. I think this is a very sustainable one. We have all seen e-commerce growing. Now you get everything delivered at your doorstep. So why not scooters? There are large number of even car companies where you don't need to visit their showrooms. You go onto their website, you can customize your car or SUV, and you can get delivered at your doorstep. So why not scooter? So I think this is a sustainable model, and it would remain for next coming years. I don't see any disruption coming in. In fact, this would grow with coming time, because what is a original model. There are companies sending it to distributors, and from distributors you are going, so you're losing out on a margin because distributor is managing and having the capex invested, managing these showrooms, large real estate space, so many manpower. If those benefit is cut down and those benefit can be passed to a customer, anyways the electric scooter, electric vehicles are far costlier than the normal fuel one. So companies trying to pass those benefits to the customers directly by cutting these intermediaries in between.
Same thing what was happening in FMCG, durables and all other things are now actually happening in these vehicles. They're also durables in a way. They are consumer durables, long-term investment. That is happening. Any other questions, please? Yes, Anish, go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So lately we've been listening a lot about drone delivery systems. So in your opinion, will it be sustainable and feasible in a country like India? And how long can it take to get a huge market share?
Okay. So a very nice question, Anish. I think for drone, there's a separate airspace is getting allocated, which is something like 8 to 10 kilometers above the surface level. There are 2, 3 companies which are investing and working onto it. So there are also trials getting in, but government is more interested for these drone trials to happen in the northeast and those market where the delivery of medicines and essential items is not possible. Of late, we have been seeing few delivery drone trials happening in Bangalore and Hyderabad. Let's see, it's too early to comment because this drone as a model, there's still not a very, there's nothing as a role model which has still been established in the Western countries. And in terms of digitalization and internet penetration, India is far more advanced. So we have to wait and watch and see. But I believe this model is here to stay because it becomes more easy, to get medicines delivered in a situation like some natural disaster which has happened, or to the up countries or rural towns or to the forest area which are cut off from the main landscape.
And I think satellite internet would play a big role in that, as because Bharti has already partnered with one of the US company. Because वहाँ पे क्या रहता है, wires का या अपना optical fiber का या उसका towers का जरूरत नहीं पड़ता.
We have seen OneWeb coming in, and also we are seeing 2 more companies coming in the satellite communication. One is Starlink, which is from Telsa, and there is also one company which is coming from Amazon. So these are also coming into satellite communication. We will see a lot of play happening in these markets also in coming days.
Interesting question तो जितेंद्र जी ये रहेगा कि प्रोजेक्ट लून की इतने दिनों से हम सुन रहे हैं गूगल की, उसको ये खत्म कर देगा या नहीं खत्म कर देगा सैटेलाइट वाला? आई थिंक खत्म कर देगा, मुझे ऐसा लगता है. कहते हैं वो भविष्य की बात है. Any other questions? I think they have had their fill. And thanks a lot, Jiten ji, again and again. आप आए, अपने छुट्टी के दिन अपना टाइम निकाला.
And it's always interesting, Siddharth ji, to speak to young minds. But only one thing, किसी ने electric vehicle पे question नहीं पूछा. I was thinking कि वो EV पे पूछेंगे कि EV कैसे grow कर रहा है, EV पे क्या होगा.
लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड EV मैं पूछता हूँ, लॉजिस्टिक्स एंड EV आपको भविष्य दिखता है क्या? क्योंकि मुझे शहर के अंदर तो दिखता है, पर शहर के बाद जब तक अनलेस वी हैड fantastic network of charging points, or we have a ranges of say 400, 100 kilometers minimum, जैसे कि Ford ने करी है या Tesla ने करी है, तब तक मुझे भविष्य transportation में नहीं दिखता.
Sir, I asked regarding Ola Electric.
So Ola electric future. So electric vehicles pe, what I see, there's a clear-cut future, especially in the hyper-local and e-commerce deliveries. Large number of companies like Amazon, Flipkart, they are now bringing bikers with EV. They're also bringing these cargo vehicles, which is three-wheelers. For metros and major metros, it will work. For long haul ke liye, it will not be EV, it would be CNG trucks or the biodiesel trucks, which are getting tested in coming days. We will see few trials happening in Gujarat and Delhi, jahan pe CNG trucks opt honge. So green fuel would stay, and anyways, we have committed, as a country for zero emission norms in coming years. So अपना ये green fuel वाला piece or EV piece रहेगा. We'll see a lot of EV scooters and EV cars running in the main cities. But you have said definitely क्या वो highway पे दौड़ेंगे? So there's a new technology which is coming up, which is swappable batteries, where don't you have to charge, आपका एक charging point होगा, आप उस पे गए, आपने अपनी battery दी और उसने आपको नई battery charge दे दी. So that concepts are also getting tested now these days on the highways.
Okay, any more questions? No more curious minds? Anyway, so I think we should call it a close. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you.
बहुत अच्छा लगा. On a personal level तो मजा ही आ गया. And on a professional level, thanks a lot for sharing your wisdom with the students and all that. And I think because just to share with you, I've given an assignment to them. कि basically तुमने gain क्या किया? ऐसा filter होके निकल गया या कुछ बचा? So that way, because and thanks for the skill input and output, and maybe we'll trouble you again sometime. Okay, I wanted to call you for the skill conclave, पर वो आपके tragedy हो गए थे, आप आ नहीं पाए. But anyway, so
yes.
sometime we will be in touch. Thanks a lot, and बहुत आपका धन्यवाद. और आपको विजयादशमी के साथ दीपावली की अग्रिम शुभकामनाएं. आपका ये वर्ष शुभ हो और आपको a lot of prosperity and everything for the company. Thanks a lot. Thank you all the students, and thanks for the questions and the patient hearing. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, we all can disconnect. The guest is left. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.
Okay, sir.